All right, today's a bit of a harder topic to discuss. You saw the title, I'll repeat it here. I am begging you, I'm pleading that you please stop riding for clout. What do I mean by that? I don't just mean people who wear fuzzy helmet covers. I actually don't think that that's that bad. I think it's indicative of the type of person who would do something like that. But I don't think it's that bad, honestly, the fuzzy helmet cover people. And what I mean is people who, they get into motorcycling for, let's say, the wrong reasons. They're people who want to leverage motorcycles as a lifestyle activity to increase their visibility online. The least kind of worrisome offenders of this are people who are just like, I guess what they call helmet creators, helmet talk or whatever, people who just have a motorcycle helmet and like make motorcycle adjacent content, usually kind of lewd and risque in nature. We did a whole deep dive on bike talk. Go back and watch that one if you haven't. That was a good upload. And, those maybe present a poor image of motorcycling in the larger cultural zeitgeist, but really, I don't have any issue with that either. What I have issue with is people who end up getting a motorcycle and they treat it with disdain. They don't treat it with respect. And as you guys know, as I've said for many, many years on this channel, motorcycles are fun, but they're serious fun, and they are not tolerant of stupid behavior. Even a 400cc machine, if you do stupid stuff with it, it will produce a stupid result. It's not that complicated, right? I don't think there's anything wrong with someone owning a motorcycle as a quote-unquote lifestyle accessory, right? I actually don't think that motorcycling should be like your whole personality. Contrary to popular belief, but if you stumble across me, Eric, aka Yami Noob, out in the street in person, I wouldn't say the last thing, maybe I would be the last thing because I'm not at work, but I don't think the first thing I would talk to someone about would be my motorcycling or my motorcycles. I usually wait to see if the conversation flows that way, and if someone's interested and wants to talk bikes, we can talk bikes. But, I'm honestly, typically, with people, I'd love to talk about other things, And that's what I mean, where I don't think there's anything wrong with someone owning a motorcycle and it's just not a huge deal. Producer Logan and I were actually talking about this, where he had a neighbor that had a Harley Davidson, and he asked him, "Oh, what bike do you have?" And he's like, "Oh, it's a Harley Davidson." He's like, "Yeah, but what model?" And he's like, "Oh, I don't know, I just picked it up last year and I'm having fun with it." And it sort of blew both of our minds thinking about someone who owns a bike and doesn't even know what model it is. But I think that's okay. We don't have to all be autistic spreadsheet nerds about the bikes we own and to know every single little thing about them and to be obsessed about them. I think motorcycling can breed the type of person that is very interested in that sort of thing. And, I do it professionally, so I kind of have to be a savant when it comes to, knowing all the bike specs and the models and the sounds they make and all that stuff. But again, I don't think there's anything wrong with someone who just has a bike, likes it, and doesn't really have it be their whole shtick, And I think before social media, this was maybe more common, someone wouldn't own a motorcycle for clout. I think at the worst, they maybe would get a bike because they think it would make them look more manly or get more chicks or something like that, or they wanted to rock up to the bar in something cooler than their Honda Civic. And maybe they thought that owning a motorcycle would give them access to some of that personality, right? But I really think that social media has just screwed up so much in our world. And I know that's not a groundbreaking piece of news there, but in regards to motorcycling, I think it is, because what I've seen is a phenomenon of people who want to look the part and they want to have this whole biker persona, whatever it may be, and it often is more sport bike adjacent stuff. I don't really see this stuff too often with cruiser guys, because I think they're a little bit older and they kind of been there, done that. They're not that interested in the social media thing. Some of them are, and some of them are more like right-wing politics adjacent, and they're rant in their car about Harley Davidson's new woke CEO or whatever, and you're like, oh my god, this again, another right-wing jester. Fantastic. That's just what we need on the internet. But no, it's the young, kind of brain-rotted, broccoli-headed, sport bike loving, that sort of thing. And I just see a lot of people who They progress very quickly through the kind of power progression ladder. You know, maybe they get an R7 as their first bike. You know, pretty decent first bike, not bad. But then they already start posting stuff like, oh, I'm outgrowing this thing. It's too small. I got to get a big bike, because they want to keep up with everybody else they see on social media. And then 6 months later, they're signing the papers to take a loan out on a BMW S1000RR. They finance their AGV Pista helmet on a credit card, and they go out and they get started producing ultra cool nighttime content and all that, right? And this is what I mean by riding for clout. This is what I'm begging people to stop, because it doesn't affect me one way or the other, right? It genuinely doesn't. It doesn't affect my business here on YouTube. It doesn't do anything different, because I've already noticed that there's a totally different crowd of people watching and consuming short form S1000RR AGV Pista helmet content than watch Yami Noob. I'm not concerned about that. I've seen some comments where people say, Yam, you're pulling the ladder up underneath you. Oh, we're trying to get up. We're trying to be content creators. I'm like, there's nothing wrong with that. Be a content creator. What I'm saying is you have to respect the craft of motorcycling and respect your lack of knowledge and your inabilities before you start proselytizing the good word and going out there and trying to be Mr. Cool Guy on your bike, right? And look, I will be the first to admit, I was that person 10 years ago. I had a Daytona that I bought 6 months after owning an R3, and I thought I was hot shit, and I wanted to make cool videos. And look where it led me, you know? I got into a really big accident that almost ended my life. I don't want to say accident. I got into a crash that was 100% my fault that almost ended my life, you know? And that was a result that did not need to happen. That didn't need to happen. And that's what I'm trying to get around with this video is I'm begging you to stop doing that, because it leads to really bad results. If you get a motorcycle and you don't respect it, and all you're trying to do is just make content for Instagram or YouTube or whatever it is, you're setting yourself up for failure. Because really, I think where motorcycles excel is to bring yourself to a place of solitude and enjoyment and mental focus and clarity, because they're so unique in that way, you know? Like, I'll sit here and I'll make videos for you guys, and I do that whole shtick, but I ride a lot without a camera. A lot. Most of my time, actually. Most of my time on a motorcycle, I do not have a camera attached to my helmet. And it's why my helmet doesn't have, like, a fixed motovlog setup. It's actually set up so that I can very easily strip out all the crap in my helmet and just go for a ride, because I talk the talk and I walk the walk. I made a video a while back where I was like, I'm not using cardos anymore. I don't really ride with cameras. I don't like, you know, having a phone on my bike all the time. This to me is precious, precious time. And I'm not saying that the way that I do things is best and everybody should do the things the way that I do them because I'm so smart. What I'm saying is I have lived that clout chasing life. And that's why I feel very well equipped to make this video and hopefully reach somebody who's in that position. Chasing that leads to bad results. We saw it with Dancing Moto. We're seeing it with, I don't know why we bring him up every week, but Thought Taken. I think he's changed his tune. But the guy got so many speeding tickets, and he's always making videos and stuff, and he's one of my better of the younger kind of like squids, you know? And I do think he's doing cool stuff. But I just see these younger guys, and I'm like, dude, you're setting yourself up for failure. And you're setting yourself up to not be a lifelong motorcyclist. And again, if you don't want to be a lifelong motorcyclist, if you don't care about motorcycling all that much, that's fine. Like I said, use it as a lifestyle accessory. Have a bike in the garage. Be like, I don't know what the displacement is. I don't know what the horsepower is. I just think it looks cool, and I like riding it from time to time. These are the kind of guys that own like jet skis and Hayabusas. They're just like, I don't know jack shit about the jet ski or the Hayabusa. All I know is I like twisting the grip on both of them and going fast. That's all I really care about. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. I think where it becomes a problem is you blend that behavior with people who have no business making that type of motorcycle content and are obsessed with viewership and that sort of thing. You know, that's really where it gets in trouble. And so to that type of person, I would say go out and ride with no camera. Go out and ride without your cell phone, for God's sake. I know that's probably a bit scary for some of the young ones. You know, oh my God, I'm not going to have my cell phone with me. You'll be fine, I promise. Pretty rare that you even need a cell phone when you're out riding. I think I've actually needed a cell phone maybe like 5 times in my entire 11 years of riding. So yeah, sometimes nowadays I just don't even bring my phone. I tell my wife, if I die, I die. It is what it is, baby. Because it's such a special feeling, dude. I don't want to see motorcycling turned into something like everything else is nowadays. It's just commodified and turned into crap for content and all the other thing. It just really sucks, man. I don't want it to turn into that. And maybe that's me being protective of it. Maybe that's me looking at motorcycling and saying, man, I really just want it to stay pure. I want it to stay golden, you know? Because this is something I love dearly. Goodness gracious, this Tuono is just magnificent. I don't know if I mentioned it, but this is a giveaway bike on YamiNoob.co. Hit the link down below and support the show and become a member, and you can have this motorcycle end up in your driveway. I've given away like 70 of these things. 70, that's right, like $800,000 worth of motorcycles, and this is the next one on the block. You're not going to want to miss it. I don't think I did the promo, so there you go. Because look, everybody wants to look cool. Everybody wants validation from their peers. Everybody wants to have, you know, like that good, nice feeling inside where like people think you're doing something cool. That is definitely a universal human experience. But I would say try to get that in person from your community rather than going online and trying to post content to get validation from people who have no clue who you are. Like, you could just enjoy motorcycling, you know? And truthfully, that's why I barely ride with a camera nowadays. I do it maybe like once or twice a month, and all the other time I'm out riding and enjoying myself, because I've realized that, you know, it really distracts and takes away from my riding when I'm producing content. I don't want to be producing content all the time. And there's some days I think about, like, man, what would it be like if I was just a guy who enjoyed motorcycles, and I wasn't YamiNoob, and I wasn't this content creator, and I didn't have to turn this into a giant machine that, you know, supports payroll and rents for the studio and, you know, overhead and all that stuff. Like, would that have been better? And I mean, the answer is probably, you know, like it probably would have been a lot better to just enjoy a motorcycle. So again, my point to you guys is maybe don't turn motorcycling into this content machine or whatever it is that you're trying to do with it, because some things are best left to just be enjoyed, to just be something that you love. It doesn't have to be content. It doesn't have to be, you know, something like that. I made that decision many years ago with my music. I used to play music in bands, and I've produced a ton of music, and, you know, sometimes it would frustrate me that I wasn't getting the plays that I wanted to get on the streaming apps and on YouTube and whatever else. And then one day I realized, I'm like, you know what, like, if I let go of the feeling that I have to get viewership on my content, then everything is going to be a lot better for me. And so if you're the type that's posting for clout and you're just trying to chase views, etc., number one, I don't think you're even going to reach this message, because unless I convert this video into short form, then maybe it'll reach you. But I just encourage you to reconsider and think about the thing that you're doing. Like, really think about it. You know, you're like, damn, I'm like riding this motorcycle. You know, where can I improve with this? How can I get better? What am I missing here? What do I not know? And that'll just give you a better experience in general. You know, it'll really provide a superior experience to your motorcycling life if you do that, rather than if you live this way that you're always just trying to monetize content based on your motorcycling. Because like I said, we need a whole lot less of that. We really do. But if you have something unique you want to say, you have something that you think provides perspective, adds value, gives people something cool to check out, that isn't just vanity, you know, then go for it. Make that content. Make the thing you want to make. And I think it's great. But if you're posting just for clout and you just want to look cool or whatever it is, like, I really do encourage you, and I'm kind of begging you to please stop. Because you're going to get hurt. Because I lived it. And I've been there and I've done that. And it's just ultimately not really worth it. All right, boys. All that being said, thanks so much for checking out today's video. I do appreciate it. Just gave the wave to the scooter over there. He did not wave back. Sad day for me, but that's okay. Scooter Bro said, frick you, YamiNoob. Frick you. I'm only saying frick because I don't want Josh to edit out the F words. I'm trying to give him a little bit less work to do. All right, boys. Thanks so much for checking out today's video. I appreciate it. I will catch you in the next one. See you later.